Right, let's have a look, Dave. Let's check we're live because yeah, apologies if you're just joining us. We're a little bit a few minutes late today. We had a few tech issues.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. Always late, but worth the wait. We're live, mate. Got the confirmation.
We're live. Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, yeah, if you just joined us, yeah, do say hello. Do pop your name in the comments as always on all of our Tuesday tune-ins. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a little shaka if you want to, maybe even a Big Ten, whatever
shaka?
it is. Yeah, that's what you call it. It's a shaka. Yeah.
Is that called a shaka?
It is.
Why?
We're not doing that Antarctic thing again, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's wait for a few more people to join then. Right, Shona's on, Bry, Jim, great, Gary. Oh, hello, Evertrek. Evertrek's on here as well. Awesome. James, great to see you on here, mate. David, Ned, Squire. Like it, Ned. You got the old Ned in the old dots there. Nice. Tina's on here. Lee. We got Ramona. Of course, Ramona's here. Yes, and Ramona, we are live. Obviously, because you can hear us. All right, guys. Dave, we'll crack on into today because you know we were talking about what to do today, especially after last week's awesome live, which was mad, and we had heaps and heaps of questions. One of our most busiest live, I think, in terms of trying to answer the questions in the time as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Haley. Hey, Leah. So yeah, today we were like, okay, a lot of people thinking about different trips at the moment. We've had K2 has been great in terms of going to K2 base camp. That's been great seeing people book onto that. We've had some people book onto Elbrus as well. So yeah, some new trips we launched last week.
We're doing Elbrus.
Yes, we do, Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, this week was around you know, okay, some of the things that might potentially sort of get in the way of your adventure. You know, fears is a big one. I know we had last week, we had around fear of flying was one, maybe some of the bridges, maybe something to do with Kili as well. You know, what was it like sort of going up there? And so we thought we tackled fears and things like that. And obviously I know I put a little ghost emoji on the subject line this. There's not many ghosts out there, but yeah, you know, fears, ghosts, all feels like it's in the same bracket, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's loosely connected. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lauren, I answered a question 2 seconds before, and this one might come under a fear. So it was a non-live related question, just a standard everyday Evertrek queue. Okay. Are any of our treks in bear territory?
Oh wow! Yeah, okay.
I said maybe red pandas, but I'm not strictly sure they count as a bear. Are they a bear? I don't think they're a bear, are they? Not a type of bear.
We need to get someone on who's like.
Who will know about this? Maybe Leah. Do they have red pandas in Australia, or is they just Asia?
Mainly Asia, I'd guess.
Yeah.
Fear of the toilets.
Fear of the toilets, man. If
that is a big fear.
Yeah, honestly, it's Gorek Shep, the toilets there, magnificent. It's an experience, to be honest with you. You never remember you know, when you go to Japan and you see those amazing toilets with like a whole control panel full of different whistles and bells.
Yeah.
It's not quite as exciting as going into Gorek Shep. You know, you never know what you're going to get.
I think it's on most trips. I mean, even on Kili. I mean, we're quite lucky on Kili because we have our own toilets. But some of the long drops are very interesting. I know at Gorek Shep, Dave mentioned there, which is the last settlement before you get to Everest Base Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you go in there, guys, do expect it to be very colourful. Yeah, it's a very interesting. You'll remember it. There's a reason why we talk on the same one as fears. Even Shona who's put it on there. Anyone else that's been to Everest Base Camp, let us know how you thought Gorek Shep toilets were. It'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are, guys. But yeah, Shona, hey Mick's on here. Men of Mayhem. Yeah, thanks, mate. I hope you've enjoyed your week. I've seen you out and about. Who else is on here? Kim. Kim's here. Late than ever, but it's okay. Back in the gym. Kim,
to be fair,
chill out now. You got a trip coming, mate. You want to relax?
we were also late, to be fair, man. So I don't think we can criticize her for that. I think red pandas are most similar to skunks, apparently, than bears.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose they are quite small, aren't they?
Exactly. So anyway, welcome to today's live, all about animals and whether or not they are bears.
Dave. So yeah, so we talk about fears then. What would you say the biggest one that we get?
Easily, I can think of the top three. I'm not entirely sure which one would outright win. But definitely, am I fit enough? So will I hold the group up? Am I fit enough? Will I be able to do it? Will I have to turn back? All of that sort of stuff. The other one is, what happens if I get altitude sickness? We've talked a lot about altitude sickness recently, but we do get that a lot because it's something that's seen as uncontrollable and unavoidable. And then fear of heights is probably the big one. So what are the bridges like on EBC? Are there any sheer drops on Elbrus and Aconcagua? What's the Barranco Wall like on Kilimanjaro? All of these sort of things are the big things that sort of loom high in people's minds, because I said when you book like a hotel, it's because of the uncertainty. If you're booking a beach holiday in Spain, you're going to get a beach, right? It's 100% guaranteed. You're going to get what you got out of it. Most of the time. Well, I mean, the hotel might be a bit rubbish. You're a bit close to the bottle bank. It's a bit loud. But, 9 times out of 10, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to get a beach and sangria and sand and all of that stuff. When people go to base camp or Kilimanjaro or anything like that, it's, there's uncertainty there because there's so many elements that are at play. And a lot of them, that one about, am I going to hold up the group? Am I fit enough? Is a strange one because that's nothing to do with whether you'll get there or not. It's like social anxiety creeping into the trip. Will I hold the group up? I think I just spotted it there. Who was it that said it? I think it was Lee. Yeah. It's amazing because you book on to go to this trip. You want to reach the summit of Kili. You want to go to EBC. And I always say to people, did you book on to the trip to keep up with a load of people you've never met before who are perhaps doing things wrong anyway by going too fast? Or did you go there to get the experience for yourself and enjoy it and, see this amazing places? And that's what you want to focus on, is your reason for going. And then also 99 times out of 100, you won't hold the group up anyway,
Well, Dave, you bang on there, mate. Bang on. I think, it's natural, and we've all been there. We've all been caught up with that, that kind of fear of will I be the slowest and things like that. It's only natural. These are common things, so I don't think you're on your own. And I know there's people in this who are on the comments now who have probably felt similar thing. Because you're always conscious, aren't we, of especially some Brits being polite and like, I don't want to hold anyone back, But it is about you. It's about your trip. Don't let anyone change that. We work as a team, but certainly don't let anyone make you ill by going too fast. I think ages ago, it was probably a couple of months ago now, we had Kath on here, who was on our podcast, sorry, Matt Malarkey podcast, and she talked about swimming her own swim, because she was the first person to swim a mile in the Antarctic Polar Circle, and for her, it wasn't focusing on someone else; it was focusing on her. And I think, just remind yourself of that. Maybe think about why you're going there. Maybe you're doing it for charity. Maybe you're doing it for yourself. Maybe you want to prove something to yourself. You're fit enough that you can do this challenge. Definitely. And that goes with any challenge as well. It doesn't have to be base camp. It doesn't have to be Island Peak. It doesn't have to be Kilimanjaro or Elbrus or whatever it is. It could be anything, can't it? I think Mark mentioned there about I've lost this top fan badge. Well, you need to go back to Penafan. But it could be Penafan. In Wales, at one of the peaks there. It could be Ben Nevis, whatever mountain that is. Just go at your own pace. Enjoy it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Do it. Trek your own trek, guys. That's what. Did you read
Penavan then, from Mark's thing?
I did. All I saw was fan.
I was like, you got to get back to Penavan. I was like, what?
I know.
He's lost his top fan. I knew it.
Sorry, mate. I know. Maybe I'll take a picture of Penafan, and I will give that to you, Mark.
Exactly. Yeah. I love these Australian terms. Thunderbox for the toilet, I'm assuming. Yeah, awesome.
It's usually the dunny, isn't it? Is usually the dunny is certainly something you're trying to find in the outback. Otherwise, it's a wildie. But that's another live.
love a wildie. Choose one over a regular one if I could.
So we got the fear of that there. What are the fears then, Dave? I know heights is a big one, right?
Heights is probably up there. If it's not the top one, it's definitely up there. And it's a difficult one because there's nothing like we can do other than sort of try and reassure people, because I can perhaps take the fear of going too slowly away by letting you know about the pace we all walk. We do it as a team. It's not a race, it's an experience. So that can allay those fears. Altitude, there's lots of things you can do. And then there's the fear of heights, aside from sort of, what do they call it? Hypnotization. I was going to say then hypnotizing yourself, hypnosis. Oh, thank God. aside from it was a long weekend. Aside from hypnosis, there's not really a lot you can do. However, what I will say is, namaste, Anuj. Anuj is here. He's the top guy in Nepal, and Anuj will tell you, if I focus on perhaps the biggest question that we get about heights is going over the bridges in Nepal. Now, Nepal is famed for these really long, high suspension bridges that they use to cross valleys and cross rivers. Some of them are this high off the ground. Some of them are like, 100 feet, 100 meters, really big. But we have, and I say it time and time again, and I truly believe it, we have the best guides and the best team out there on the mountain, by far, and they will help you achieve anything you want to achieve and overcome any obstacle. So one of my friends, Andy Ibbott, who's going over there, he's an ex-motorcycle racer. He's been through some real hardships in his life, and he's still deathly afraid of heights. And we've spoken to him about it. The guide will put the hand on the shoulder, make sure no one's coming the other way, and we'll just get you across it like super quick and super fast, and safely. So another one, and is the Barranco Wall, right? That's probably the second biggest one that we get.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Kili. I mean, the Everest region's definitely that, or going over, especially on Island Peak trip that we do, you're going over some ladders over the glacier. Some people are a bit, scared of that a little bit, but also as well, it's part of the challenge. We've had people who have come on these trips with these fears, especially the bridges, and they're like, oh my God, am I actually going to do it? Like a good friend of ours called Max, who for years and years. I mean, I've grown up with him, and he came on a trip with me back in April, and Dave, April 2019. And he was dreading those bridges, but you know what? He battled on and he got over them, and he he was scared, but he knew he had to get through those to reach his destination. That was, for him, that was part of the challenge. And I really I was quite inspired by that, because any fear that as an individual that we do have, and then anyone that overcomes those fears is very inspiring, because I'm quite lucky. There's not much that I kind of that worries me or fears me in that way when it comes to heights and things, so I can't comprehend it. Whereas I can't imagine how difficult that must be, and then to face that head on and then to overcome that. I mean, that's awesome. So if you're doing if you're coming to Nepal, obviously people have done it, and we will get you through it. The guides will coach you through it as well. Don't forget that. And so will your teammates, because obviously we're a team. And obviously you can do it yourself as well. Give yourself a kick up the backside if you need it, or just motivate yourself, G yourself up before going over them. Dave, you mentioned Barranco Wall there, but touch on that, because I know we had a question from someone about Barranco Wall, didn't we?
Yeah, Barranco Wall's one of those, I think, that to really get over the fear of it, you just have to go and do it, because it's not as bad as it looks, and it's not as bad as it sounds. Now, when if you look at any pictures of the Barranco Wall, because it is such this sheer black wall, cliff face, it's hard to discern the route. It looks sheer, and the drop is huge. And then when you're walking up to it, I remember when me and Andy were coming down into Barranco, and then you could see the wall ahead of you that you were going to climb the next morning, and me and Andy were like, wow, that's like Mordor. But
it is, isn't it?
But actually, when you go there, and again, you're not doing it on your own, and you're not expected to overcome this without the help of your team and your guides. Now, there's loads of guides, and they know this wall like the back of their hand. They know the positions, the foot positions. Most of it you can walk. You don't have to walk like chest against the wall. You can walk kind of normally with your hand up there and just look after yourself. There's a couple of points where it is like getting your hands involved, but at any major point where you could fall to your death, it's made impossible for that to happen by the support of your team and the guides being there looking out for you. So obviously it's not without risk, but it's really, really manageable and doable. And we had a massive cross section of people doing it. So there was myself and Andy who were really, really looking forward to it. And then we had a couple of others that were kind of a bit nervous about it. I mean, we had everyone from sort of ex-military to Elaine, who who's like just this Scottish lady that goes on these awesome adventures, and then all the way to painters and decorators, every cross section of life you could imagine, and we all got up there and said it's the best day ever. And also,
it is a good day, wasn't it? It was quite exciting.
I love, and one of the highlights of my trip, other than of course like Summit Day and a few others, but one of the big top 3 for me was reaching the top of Barranco Wall, and you're kind of like above the clouds, and it's this big plateau, and you can it's like you're looking out of an airplane window, and we had a clear day, so we were just looking out onto the sky. It was epic. But in terms of with the Barranco Wall, my advice would be, if you're nervous about it, don't look it up, don't think about it, just plow on, do each day as it comes, and then when you get there, awesome.
Yeah, I like it, Dave. Yeah, Barranco is like Dave said there, that the exact point is there's people where there's exposure, there's people there to help you, and when you're there, you actually realize it's not as bad as you think. You can't get away from it, in anywhere. You go hiking in Ben Nevis, right? There's dangerous parts. Obviously you're going up a little bit of a different area, different type of climbing, or different type of scrambling. But there's managed danger, and with Dave, we talked about this a lot of time over the years. Like, there's managed danger and unmanaged danger, and this certainly comes under the bracket of managed. The danger is very manageable with the right people around you. Also, as well, with the right coaching, because you're in control of your hands and knees and where you are. And there's one bit called hugging rock or kissing rock. I mean, you can do either. And pretty much you give it a kiss, give it a hug, and then you round it. And there's a little drop behind you. But you can have a guide there, before you step off, round the little rock there, and then another one there to kind of guide you over. So it really is. I mean, of all the people who were there, it was something they thought that was easier than I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly you can overcome that, though. I know it was a question that came in. I think if it was it Gary Pinkerton? And yeah, he was obviously looking forward to Summit Day. Yeah, you'll do it, mate, 100%.
Gary Pinkerton, I think it's Gay Pinkerton, right?
Oh,
either way, first timer. Welcome to the fold. Everyone, can you show them where the toilets are and where the exits are and stuff like that? Thank you very much. But yeah, it's great. Parisha Patel, Barranco Wall is the best day of the climb yet. A lot of people say that. It's so fun. And then someone I did see ask, where is the Barranco Wall?
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, Lindsay McLeod. So yeah, it's on Kilimanjaro, on the Lemosho route. So we only do the Lemosho route on Kilimanjaro. We call it Kilimanjaro the long way. And on one of the days after waking up, you'll go up what's called the Barranco Wall. So it's this big, huge cliff face that you have to get up in order to continue on. Yeah, and it is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? From the front, it certainly looks impassable. But then when you're up there, it kind of there's a place, there's a way that winds all the way through. It's pretty cool, actually. You'll love it. Let us know how you get on with that one. Right. So fears then, Dave. Altitude. That's a big one.
Yes.
Suffering from altitude. Where do we want to start with that?
Stay at sea level. But no, altitude is one of those. Again, you know what people say about it's the fear of the unknown. I genuinely believe, and the more I learn about it, and I'm learning more about it all the time. After my first trip to Everest Base Camp, I thought I knew everything about altitude, and then 5-6 years hence, and I feel like I'm still learning about it. And I think that's how altitude is. It changes each time you go there, at least on a personal level. But I think one of the things you can do to get rid of the anxiety around will I or won't I get altitude sickness and will it end my trip is by educating yourself about it before you go. And there is some stuff you can do. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Altitude Center, but I recommend go back and watch that live from a couple of weeks ago if you haven't. But talking about what you can do on the mountain, which is our number one priority to get you acclimatized, because these trips are designed for people that either necessarily can't afford or can't do all the pre-acclimatizing stuff, because it is expensive and it is time consuming, and you do have to go to London. So if you're in Edinburgh and you don't want to go all the way to London to pre-acclimatize and you can't afford the tent, great, our trips are still suitable for you. And it's about following the mountain rules when you're there. So the first one we always say, and we'll repeat it. Maybe this hydration should be on the bingo. It might already be, yeah.
Altitude.
Yeah.
Maindel Bhutans. There we go. We've done that. Playing bingo.
There we go. Yeah.
For any newbies, or first Tuesday tune in first timers. Yeah, we over the last probably almost 18 months since we started doing these lives on a Tuesday. Some of our die-hard Evertrekkers have created some Tuesday tune in bingo. So ask Leah about that. She is great at organising those little bingo cards.
I love that. I thought that was amazing. I'm pretty sure we've just given someone bingo in one sentence there as well. That was great.
I did. That's what I was like. Right. Okay.
Yeah. One day I think we should go like, okay, are we live? We've got Remaindels on. Okay, stay hydrated and but yeah. So yeah, altitude is one of those. Yeah, going back to that where it's completely manageable and completely. It's not the be all and end all of the trip. It's what makes it an adventure. It's a fascinating and adventurous side of the trip by going to altitude. It's why we've specialized in going there, because it does add an extra element of sort of risk. And we think risk is fun as long as it's managed risk and it's, we're not risking anyone's health unnecessarily and dangerously, then that's fine. And as long as you stay hydrated and you walk slow, this is why I say it over and over again, don't worry if you're slow, it doesn't matter. My dad has been to base camp twice and he walks so slow moss grows on his boots. Like honestly, I remember walking at Pen y Fan with him and I was on the summit looking down at him and I could see him on the horizon and I could see his arms moving, but there was never he never got any closer. He just sat on the horizon like an endless sort of.
He got there in the end, though, right?
Yeah, he's done base camp now. I always call it 1.8 times because he got so close to base camp the first time and turned back. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. Why did he turn back? He was fatigued from altitude. Why was he fatigued? Because he'll admit he didn't train as much as he should have. So he went there a bit too heavy and a bit too unfit. So that's what you can do. He didn't take Diamox. Perhaps a little bit of pride got in the way. He wanted to do it normally.
Without
normally, without assistance. But I always say, well, you took ibuprofen, you took paracetamol. Diamox helps with another side of it. So he left Le Boucher to go to base camp and turn back because he knew he couldn't do it in the time he had because of how slow he was. He came back the second time, lost a bit of weight, got a bit fitter, took Diamox, and it was night and day was the difference. So
he enjoyed it more as well, didn't he, Dave? I think that's the important thing. You can battle through some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and we get some battlers. I think one of our customers and good friends, Billy, would come under that bracket of a battler. Same as Jim. On Killy, but he enjoyed that second trip a lot more, didn't he?
100%. Yeah, like I said, it was. Well, when he did the first trip, I think it was so hard and so sort of exhausting because of all those mistakes that when he got back, like he had a Sunto watch, it was 300 odd quid. He gave it away to a guide.
Yeah, he did.
Hung up his boots, just everything. That was it. He was done with it. And probably within 6 months, he had to buy the watch again and buy a new pair of boots.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Some questions actually. I know we've got others first, but I'm going to answer it because whilst we're talking about Diamox, I think Kim's asked about Diamox all the way, or just if you have problems. I think from our experience, the way it's been used, and you'll get people out there offer different opinions to this. This is just from our experience, what we've seen, the works of altitude, is that it's best, when it happens, because if you take it from the beginning, like some doctors in the UK, do sort of advise take it a few days before you leave, and then, or even when you arrive in Kathmandu, and then all the way through the trip, and then until you're back down, which can work. But we find that the better way it works, because you don't have to always go on it, is that when you do have altitude issues, is then you start taking maybe half a tablet, and then if it doesn't do anything, you can step that up. So you've got somewhere to go with it. Because if you're on Diamox and you're getting altitude issues, then it's probably going to be one of those conversations where we have to turn you around. If it becomes that bad, that stage, and health always comes first, guys. But I think from our experience, that's the way it is worked better, would be taking it as a reactive drug rather than trying to be proactive with it, which I know is, and I always like to be proactive about stuff, but then if we concentrate on the hydration, the pace, listening to your guide, enjoying yourself, keeping that positive mindset, those things will will do 90% of the job. You know, you can get unlucky. You know, things can happen. Maybe your body can be in a bad place when you're there. You know, maybe if you really burn yourself out before you go, your body's going to be, you know, working really hard at altitude. So some people get a bit of you know, a bit of tiredness there, which can affect you.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, Diamox 100% for me, and I think as a professional advice would be take it as a reactive thing,
Yeah.
rather than proactive. But again, lots of opinions out there, guys. This is just some advice from us, and we like to think it works. You know, with our success rate of altitude, which is very high on all of our trips, we kind of like to think it works.
Yeah. And also, like you said, it changes the psychology. Sometimes if people take Diamox right from the beginning, some people might assume that that's going to turbocharge their acclimatization, but not really. So yeah, I think like when I took it on Kili, I did exactly what Andy's just said. So I started the trip, a few days in, started to feel like I wasn't firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And then just started taking Diamox then in the morning and the evening with my guide under his direction. So I always defer to the guide in that scenario. Even though I might know a little bit, I still have to tell the guide what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and then they will give you the advice and help you. So you've always got your guide as well. So nothing's left for you to second guess and things like that. Wow, Ramona, I've seen you posted the same question like 4 times, so I think maybe we'll answer it.
What's she asked? Let's have a look. Oh, okay.
Okay, serious question. Yeah, he's serious question. Hang on. How are you all coping re-lockdown? Oh, the ending of furloughs. Wow, this is serious. Are you keeping the business? Are we keeping the business going? Obviously, want to go on future treks with you lot, but concerned about how things are keeping. Well, I guess, your questions arrived 4 times in our feed. Okay, Ramona, what I shall say, and then I'll hand it over to Andy, because I think we both like to say a piece on that, is that, remember that one time when I said we weren't, and everyone panicked? Furloughs and stuff like that, to be honest, we've skirted around. We haven't needed it. Taking people on during the middle of the lockdown. Everything's really healthy and growing and expanding. All of these new trips are a sign of that. You know, we haven't hunkered down and weathered the storm. We started things like this, the podcast, all of that sort of good stuff. And the company couldn't be in better health, to be honest with you. I mean, we wouldn't be doing giveaways and stuff like that. It would be much more sort of bury and wait for the storm to end, but it's not our style. So we've grown. And
yeah, it's one of those. Honestly, great question, and thanks for asking, Ramona. Because I suppose it comes down. I mean, for us as well. You know, obviously, any travel company. I know Marky V works in consultancy with a lot of other travel companies. It's it's a difficult time for everyone. We can't get around that. Especially all of our teams in countries like in Nepal, it's been difficult. That's why we run some fundraisers, trying to help them, especially the ones in Tanzania as well. Even in Morocco, which we're hopefully to run our next trip in a couple of weeks. It's all go ahead with that for a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been a difficult one, isn't it, for the travel industry? But I think naturally, I mean, certainly from our perspective, we've always been on the more optimistic of sides, and we didn't want to furlough stuff. We didn't, we were lucky that we didn't have to really, because it's quite a small team. But there were certain things we wanted to bring in that it came down to people sticking with us. And I want to say thanks as well to everyone that stuck with us, because we've got a very low rate of people who are cancelling altogether. I mean, because we've been quite flexible, some move-in trips, offering the lifetime deposits, having that Uber flexibility. Has meant that people, it's difficult, isn't it, to book in some sort of holidays. Like if you're going to relax on a beach, right, you can cancel that and off you go. But you get a lot of people who book onto our trips and they're like, well, I still want to do this. It's just a matter of time. So we try to make that as easy as possible. So a lot of people have just, okay, great. We'll come with you guys. We love you guys. It's a matter of time. So they'll put it to like 2023 or, when travel opens back up, maybe, largely, especially in Nepal, maybe later this year or early next year. So look, it's a great question, but I think the big answer from us is thank you guys for sticking with us, because that's one of the reasons why we're still here. But also as well, we've had a big influx of new customers, which has also helped. So yeah, big thank you. And yeah, we're not going anywhere. We got some big plans, but yeah, firstly we want to get back to the mountains. That's why I started the company, is to help people get out and take on big challenges. and also help the countries we visit. And we're still going to do that.
Yeah,
100%. We're going to smash it.
exactly. And yeah, Ramona said, sorry if I caused alarm. Also, there's some laughing at my serious face, which is rude.
You don't have to see it.
My face, that's my serious face. But no, yeah, I mean, honestly, we know that, you know, we are a community here, and obviously this is a two-way forum, and we want you to ask questions like that, you know, and it's great. And we've coped, I think, remarkably well. I mean, as a business, personally, I've hated every minute of lockdown. You know,
we want to run trips, don't we? At the end of
yeah,
the day,
exactly. You know, so obviously it's not, you know, it's not ideal, and it's depressing when you want to be running trips, and I want to be out there and be doing things and seeing people and doing all the nice social stuff. But I understand that we can't, and I think it's a worthy investment to kind of stop the spread of the virus so we can get out there. And I think we're reaching that point now where there is light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah, nice. I love those sort of questions. You know, it's all good. Cheers, Ramona.
Yeah. Wondering now if we should dip into some of the other questions as well.
Yes.
Because we have had a few. So Gay Pinkerton, I'm a bit concerned about Barranco Wall walking along a narrow edge, apart from all the other bits like Summit Day. Summit Day, that's a barrel of laughs. Yeah, no, Summit Day is epic, like on a whole other scale. Barranco Wall, I think by the time you finish with it, Gay, you'll wish that it was longer. You know, it's one of the.
You feel awesome when you get to the top, don't you? Sorry, Dave.
Yeah. I think that both me and Andy felt like that. When we finally finished the Barranco Wall, we wished we were halfway. It's that much fun. And like I said, any of the bits where you could, I know Brian will like this, you know, like plummet, like, you know, like, yeah, everyone, there's always people around you. There's always people there. Brian made actually a really good comment there about your teammates and the guides will help you. And that's what it is. They're not sort of other group members, they are teammates, and they're your guides, and that's what they're there to do. So if you're a bit worried and there's a point where you need to go on a narrow ledge, a hand will be there to sort of secure and make you all the way. So yeah, it's great. And yeah, Summit Day, you'll have to book on to experience that one, I'm afraid. And
definitely try and have a look at Kilimanjaro the long way. A little sort of video. Our good old sexy business mountain lion Steve filmed for us last year and put together. Lauren, if you're in the comments, chuck that link in to that video. It's a really good video. I don't know why. Maybe someone had a question around something, but just to visualize something, I actually watched a bit of it yesterday, and I think because that was one of the things we were able to do from a business perspective last time. That was the last thing we were able to do. It always gets the energy going. And yeah, now we're coming to it where we're so close to running trips now. It's getting really exciting. You know, it's gonna be a great 12 months ahead. You know, fingers crossed, guys. I mean, you know, as we always say, we don't have a crystal ball or anything, but you know, I think the travel industry has taken a lot now. I think you know, maybe hopeful that the British government will open it up, obviously as safe as we can. But yeah, those mountains haven't gone anywhere, so we're going there as soon as we can.
Well, the Hillary step did, that fell off, but other than
and Everest got taller during lockdown.
And Everest got taller, yeah. So if anything, Everest has got bigger whilst we've been away. So yeah, awesome. And Kim Lawley, but trips are starting. Where are you off to, Kim? I think you're going somewhere soon. Yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome. Tupgal. And so Lee has said, I think we answered that one about a fear about you holding up the group, Lee. Don't have that fear, you'll be fine. But Andy, Dave Ashton has said add in Aconcagua anytime soon. So do you want to let him know the good news?
It's
that he may have missed.
I think he's got the link now. But yeah, we actually it must have been probably about several months ago now. We started taking bookings for Aconcagua. We got some early next year. If you're keen to go on Aconcagua, David, love to have you with us.
Yeah,
it's a beast. It's obviously the highest mountain outside the Himalayas. It's a big challenge, you know. Sorry, David, I know we've probably messaged before or been in sort of contact already, but yeah, we always probably recommend at least some altitude experience before you do Aconcagua, because not easy. You know, it's a proper expedition, but you know, obviously more than happy to have a chat and you know, about if that trip's for you, mate. Obviously, if you want to do it, then I know that most people who think that and they want to do it, That's all it takes. You know, I hate to say no, you can't. You haven't got experience, because you know what? We've had people who haven't had no experience, and then they've climbed Island Peak, or they've climbed Mara Peak, or they've climbed up Killy after 3 weeks in Las Vegas. You know, you can do whatever you want to do. Dave, what's your 90%, 10% saying?
Yeah, it's 90% mental, and the other 10% mental.
Very good.
Yeah, easy. Let's have a quick look now. So Karen Bardette, how are you doing? You've been gone for a little while. I know that you've been recovering from probably one of the single most difficult things someone has to deal with. So I hope you're doing well and strong, and you're dreading the training weekend as you've done nothing for months. Well, that's what a training weekend is for, is to get you started and get you going again, and to get you sort of jazzed up and informed. What it definitely is not about is going absolutely mental and doing like a complete ultra marathon in the Brecon Beacon. So you will be 100% completely fine. I guarantee it. You know, Brian has been on one of the training weekends. Probably many other people have been on our training weekends. We know that we like to eat and drink as much as we can, so we don't burn a single calorie on the walk. No, that's a joke. But no, it's a nice day. It's not hardcore. It's designed to be a dry run for a high altitude trip. So we all stick together. We do a low pace. I say we, the royal we. I'm going to be back in the van, sort of waiting for you all to finish. But yeah.
No, it's just going to be great just to get out and do some hiking with people. You know, it's you know, our training weekends have always been great to meet up with Evertrekkers, and Evertrekkers to meet other Evertrekkers on their group. You know, it was, I'd say about 3-4 years ago, it was very different, because we don't have as many customers as we have now. We've got thousands now, so it's very difficult to have everyone on the training weekends. But if you are, yeah, I can't wait to do some hiking. I'm really excited about it. You know, certainly the place we use is really cool. It's in a great location in terms of proximity to all the hiking that we'll do. Yeah, and it's, think of a Tuesday tune-in the last of the weekend, and that's pretty much what it is. With a bit of food and beer and hiking and everything involved. It's a great weekend. Definitely going to be chatting about Maindel, Bhutan, Shona. Yeah, of course. No, we always, because on the training weekend, we always say, you know, if you want to bring any equipment along, so we do a bit of a talk around equipment. Again, maybe similar to sort of how we do it on the Tuesday tune-in, but we go through each piece, and any questions that happen around that, or even if you want to bring some of your gear to that, we can give our opinion on it and say, okay, I'll probably have a bit more grip on that, or maybe a warmer sleeping bag than that. You know, just that kind of thing. So it's always a really good one. David Reddin, Dave, how are you? Long time no see. Looking forward to Snowdonia weekend, definitely. Our good friend Steve is really looking forward to seeing you. Dave, I know you caught up with Steve briefly yesterday. Just talk last minute things, but yeah, he's excited to have everyone, isn't he? It's probably good that we're talking about that right now.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, it is one of those as well that we do have a few spaces left over.
Yes.
I think 1 or 2 have dropped or moved dates or something, so we've got a few more dates there. So if you do want to join Steve and some other Evertrekkers on the Snowdonia Explorer weekend, I honestly can't recommend it enough. Both me and Andy have been up there and done some training with Steve. He's a fantastic guy. So he's a mountaineer, bushcraft instructor, rope climbing and rock climbing instructor. He's passionate about the local area, passionate about Llanwich and North Wales, and
it's great.
I honestly think that if you've got a mind to go to the mountains and you want to do some trekking and you have a mind to go further to altitude, going up there and doing that weekend with Steve is awesome. So I'd encourage anybody to get on that if they still want to. Well, there are still spaces available. It is an awesome weekend. What have I heard here? Oh, I just remembered. I think I owe Karen a pint anyway, don't I, on the weekend? So when we do the training weekend, because I got her name wrong, and I think you're a lot of
points, Dave. You're a lot of points.
Yeah, I do own a lot, but I think I was going to do it then, but I'll over another pint. I was going to call Shona like a name that rhymes with like lemonade, you know, Shonade. But I think I owe. To be fair, I think we both owe Shona probably about a keg or two because we didn't notice till about our 40th live.
That's it. If there's anyone who's joining for their first live or one of their first lives, we always get names wrong, and apologies on that. You know, it's become a bit of a kind of a long running joke now, but. We'll definitely clarify your name if we get it wrong. Gay, I think apologies calling you Gary. It's just the first thing I've seen, and but hopefully
so you owe Gay a pint, right?
probably do. If you drink, I'll buy you a beer when we see each other again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, a pint is on there. Bingo. Getting a name right. There we are. Nice. Yeah. Does anyone owe you a beer, Brian?
Well, Brian's
I
had
think
so many beers, being stuck in a hotel in Kathmandu for 10 days. Hey, Brian, I know that wasn't
yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, I think the Hotel Aloft is still trying to replenish its stocks. I think ready for the season.
Well, they know Brian might be booking a new trip, so they're like, right, we need to get ready for this guy just in case.
Yeah.
But no, only kidding. No, Brian's great Evertrekker. He's been part of the community for a long time now, and pleasure of meeting him and trekking with him on the training weekend, which was great. And I know he's been a big part of the community, raising a lot of money for the guides as well. So yeah, a big love from all of us, mate. I hope you're well. Hope family's well. Right, Dave. Any other questions, mate? I know we've covered a lot already, but
Lee's reminded me I owe her 2 pints. I think that's for the name, and I think gender misappropriation. I think was
yes.
Yeah, it was So pretty much, if I can cock it up on a live, I will. Is what we need to take from this. Where am I now? Looking at here.
I got a good question actually, Dave. I think Parisha. Hey, Parisha, thanks for joining us again. If you had to choose, would you choose EBC, so Everest Base Camp, or Kala Patthar? Yeah, it's a good one because so Kala Patthar is next to Everest Base Camp essentially, and it's so when you get to Everest Base Camp, because of where it lies in comparison to Everest, and it's kind of hidden by a couple of mountains before, you struggle to see the summit directly from base camp. So the best place to see the summit of Everest is from Kala Patthar.
Yep.
But what we do is, with regards to climbing Kala Patthar, we normally, I mean, it can change depending on weather, the group, how people are feeling, but 9 times out of 10, we'll do it at sunrise. So we'll get up at 4 a.m. And this is after you've already been to Everest Base Camp. So you've already done base camp, you already feel $1 million, you already achieved it. And then when you go to bed, if you want to do something even more awesome, and I know a lot of Evertrekkers on here have done it already, we'll get up at 4, we'll hike 2 hours in the dark, and then you watch the sunrise over Everest. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say either or. I'd say do both. You don't have to do Kala Patthar. I'd say do base camp, just because there's something about getting a base camp that feels amazing. You could obviously see how, if you go in climbing season, you can see base camp how it is when they're actually climbing Everest, which is pretty cool. It's got a lot of history there. Obviously, it's a good tick off the list. Kala Patthar, obviously, if you want the best views, that's the one to go for. I'd say do both if you can. If you got the energy, do base camp. If you got the energy, then do Kala Patthar.
You're only going to be there once, so even if you haven't got the energy, just do it. I did it.
Always go back and do one of the peaks, and you can climb Kala Patthar then as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Danny Mitchell spotted you on the weekend, and FanFest. We were saying this, weren't we? Everywhere we go now, it's getting too popular. It's gonna have to be like a fake mustache and nose, I think, to get by. But let's say he said, in terms of his trip with you to Kili next March, once you're on the climb, are you able to have comms with loved ones at home, or are you off grid until you get back down 8 days later? So good news. If you want to go there and switch off and stay away from everyone, you can, because the first 4 days you will have nothing. But also, if you like to stay in touch with your family and friends and have pictures to send them and stuff, then good news, because the last 4 days you will get some little bits. I think a Barafu camp, definitely, because I made a phone call from there, which is basically base camp at Kilimanjaro before you go to the summit. And then a few times on the way. My advice for you to do, though, is go into your carrier settings and select like 2G or something like that. If it's trying to find a 4G signal all the time, or 3G, it just can't do it. If you're happy with like a H, just to send a text message and maybe a phone call, then that's all you need. So that's the advice I was given by one of my guides, and it worked a peach.
It gives you the option, doesn't it? I think because the first 4 days you're like, you can't speak to anyone in an emergency. The guides have all got phones and access to local numbers, but certainly calling home, it's so random though, because you'll be in a place that seems so remote, and then your phone will start buzzing and you're like, I got some signal now. So Dave, I remember you called someone back home, and I was thinking, what's Dave doing? He's on the phone in the middle of this trek. So it's there will be
weirdly
signals you could come and go. Do
you know who I called? It was Lauren.
Really?
I think I was on Kilimanjaro, and there was a funny question or something like that. But yeah, I think I called Lauren on Kilimanjaro. I think I called a few people just to let them know I was still alive, you know. But I also don't mind incommunicado. That's it's quite nice for a little while, isn't it? Not even having to check it.
It is nice, yeah. It's there's something about it. And we were at one of our good friends Steve's wedding a couple of weeks ago on the weekend, and it was in a place in Wales, not a million miles away from civilization, but because of its location, it had zero signal. But you know what? It was great. You know, you're out there enjoying it, and you know all that. You're not checking things. It's quite nice to have that. Certainly, but yeah, it's good to have the option though. I think on a lot of our trips, very similar. I'd say Everest Base Camp probably has one of the best Wi-Fi connections of all the trips that we do because you've got what they call
Yeah,
FSLink
100%.
all the way up. So again, then you've got the option if you want to send photos home, if you want to give someone a FaceTime when you're out in Nepal. It's very good. You
Weather
can also
dependent, isn't it? Weather
weather
dependent.
dependent. Yeah, exactly. Any of the trips where you are, it's you are still in a remote region, and you know it's not exactly Elon Musk and Starlink. You know, it is it's all cables that are there. They can get quite easily damaged, and if they do, then there's nothing. But it's very very cool place to have it. But yeah,
I've upset Lauren
why?
because she said she's literally commented, I was about to say, oh, I was the first call you made, but then she realized it was a work question. That's less sweet, apparently.
I'm just speaking to Danny. Yeah, Danny, I hope you had a good time at Farm Fest, by the way. Yeah, it was a good weekend. Good
Yeah.
to see everyone have a good time.
Oh yeah, we were there for the big storm. So Marky
Yes.
V, is it not worth buying a local SIM? But to be honest with you, it's something that a lot of people used to talk about, but I don't think it's necessary. On all the trips that we've ever done, I've never needed one. So if you've got a roam-in on your phone, wherever you can get signal on a local SIM, you can pretty much get it on roam-in. That's not 100% true on Kili. Sort of in the first few days, the locals do have them, but it's only 4 days. So the cost and hassle of getting the local SIM is something that I wouldn't bother doing. I mean, me and Andy did it in Nepal once, and they need like a copy of your passport and all of this stuff. Like it's like it all has to be done legitimately, and then couldn't get it to work. So
Yeah, you know, I think whenever we're researching stuff, because I remember like in the early days before going to Nepal, especially as it hasn't quite evolved to what it is now. You know, it was take a sim. I think any country goes for the same. Local sims used to be the kind of way forward. You know, going to remote locations, but I think a lot of carriers in the UK and worldwide now that they're expanding. They're having more negotiations with the local phone companies. So it's not as kind of old school as it used to be, because that used to be the way, didn't it? Get a local sim, you know, you can call home. Nowadays, you'll get signal pretty much everywhere. I mean, you know, like we've tried local sims and they do work. But then, you know, like I'm with Vodafone and they do a lot of good carrying packages now, that you can get signal pretty much anywhere I go on the trips we go on. Okay, if you're in a really remote sort of canyon or a bit where geographic it doesn't work, then there's no chance. But unless you've got a sat phone, and on some of the trips we do carry sat phones. You know, but yeah, if you've got you know, you've got WhatsApp, isn't it? WhatsApp's great. If you've got and you know, Shona makes a really good point. We've got Wi-Fi and you can make a little WhatsApp phone. You know, phone call is free. So that's what I love. WhatsApp's great, isn't it? WhatsApp's so good.
Yeah, and it's encrypted. So I noticed that I've just realised who Tina Barrett is.
Okay.
Yeah. Tina's going to Toubkal.
You only just realised that?
Yeah, because it's a different name. I've been dealing with it differently, but yeah, awesome that your buff has arrived. I actually meant to put something else in the post for you yesterday that should have arrived today, but I'm going to do it today, so maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Tomorrow,
yeah, tomorrow you should get it. Yeah. What was your question? What's the best currency to use in Morocco? Weirdly, I tested Andy on this earlier. It is the
dirham.
Am I doing this? Oh yeah, dirham.
Moroccan dirham. Yeah.
Yeah, Moroccan dirham. There. Yeah. See, I wasn't.
You can get it in country. You can get it's very. You might be able to get it in the UK, but if you can take some pound sterling, you'll be able to trade it in country or draw it out of the ATMs on card. There's plenty of places to get it. You know, because some people do that. I mean, I usually go over there, and because I bank with Nationwide, the fees aren't too bad with regards to international withdrawals. Some banks do charge quite a big percentage, so it might be worth getting, changing your money before you go, like Moroccan dirham, you should be able to get some in the UK.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, so it's actually great that two people that I really liked, both Tinas, are now one Tina.
There we go.
So yeah, it came together in my mind.
Oh, there we go. It's a it's 007 cover.
Nice.
Nice.
Shona's come up, said it's a closed currency, so you get it in country. Shona is like a fountain of knowledge, really, isn't she?
She is. I'm sure it had some in this country, but maybe I'll be proved wrong.
Yeah. Bruce Bentley, he says, "Hi Andy, hi
hey,
Dave.
Bruce.
Hope you're both good. Hello everyone. Hope you're good too, Bruce. Welcome." So awesome. Lots of
see if we got any more questions, Dave. I know we've almost come up to the hour.
Let's have a quick look. I'm pretty sure I can. So Sarah Taylor, are there any Scotland training weekends coming up? Yes, we 100% will be doing them. It's about choosing the right time, because the Scotland ones we've tried to. They're our winter skills training trips, and I've been talking to Steve about those and scheduling them. We just need his schedule and also the weather. It's a little bit more reliable in Scotland because we need the snow. But yeah, we will be looking into setting those up in the very near future. So yeah, stay on these lives, stay on the emails, and poke us in email, if you have to, and I'll get back to you straight away. But yes, we are going to be doing them.
So I'm just reading Ramona's feedback on Kim and Tina. Very good. Sorry, a couple of questions there. I think Leah might have asked this. Dave, I'm not sure if you took this one already. For Killy, when is it the least dusty in terms of time of year? Did you ask that one, or should I go?
I don't know. June, rainy season, maybe, when you're not trekking. I haven't answered it though. Take it away.
It's dusty a lot of the year. I think you struggle to get around it. You might be all right in the lower slopes, but when you get up to you've got the big plain that you hike across, and then you get to more rugged terrain. Yeah, it's quite dusty even on summit night because volcano and the type of sand on there, especially coming down, it's so dusty. So you wear a buff, so don't not sort of breathing it in too much. I'd probably recommend that, Leah. It's dusty any time of the year. We do have some dates in kind of like March time that is very close to rainy season, so it can be quite wet sometimes, especially for the first 2 or 3 days. So that does make it a little bit less dusty. But to be honest, any time I'd say is probably a dusty time. But all part of the challenge, isn't it? Where you have a trek buff, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's impenetrable. It's made from nanofiber technology developed from NASA that we've appropriated to make the buffs. It's waterproof, windproof, keep you warm, keep you cool.
Wow, Dave, promising.
Can I get done for false advertising?
So that's just advice. Right. What else we got? We got Paul Evans. EBC trip starts 2nd of April 22. Do you reckon I'm safe to book flights? Yes, 100%, Paul. Although we don't sort of organise your flights when it comes to Nepal and your Everest Base Camp trip, you're looking at February. I'd probably look at that now. What we in August? We got September, October, November, December, January, February. Yes, you've got 6 months. Probably a good time actually. As it starts to open up. So if it opens up sort of the autumn, we're still really unsure yet with that, as you guys know. But in terms of booking flights, certainly, for next year, I think it'd be a good point to have it.
Yeah.
It might become more availability as things start to open up. So, which might help the price. So you never know. So just be wary of that, Paul. But I think if you book them now, book directly with the airlines, as we always suggest, because they've always a bit more flexible than booking for a third-party company. So it gives you a flexibility either if it is impacted. If it's then, I seriously hope not. But if it is, then you can reschedule it again pretty easy.
Yeah, awesome. Couple of comments. One of them, Karen Badet says I should have got a PPE contract. Sadly, I don't have lobbying privileges to get those. Let's have a look. Tina, my two favorite Tinas, has said, Upper Mustang, will you issue dates? Okay, so the Upper Mustang is a funny one. It's on the website because we've done a few trips before.
Yeah.
The reason why we've got no dates in there at the moment is because travel to the Upper Mustang region is getting a little bit tricky, and we can't just allow one individual to book on there because it's a 2-person minimum now in order to get the local trekking permit to enter the region.
Yeah.
So if someone does want to go to Upper Mustang, what we'd like them to do is inquire, and then we can tell them that as long as they have another person going with them, then we can book them on.
Yeah.
And that way we can get the permits and all of that stuff in order to gain access to the region. So yeah, Tina, if you do have a trekking buddy, maybe Kim, who wants to go to the Upper Mustang region, then drop us a message and we can talk more about it. But yeah, as a sort of just a bookable on a whim trip, not strictly possible at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of those, isn't it? That and that can happen in any country, but definitely Nepal, they do change the rules sometimes with permits. So yeah, if there's any other change like that, especially in a remote region like the Upper Mustang, as in we're quite limited. So yeah, definitely if you'd like to go, guys, if there's 2 of you, happy days, we can get the permits for it.
Yeah.
But Marky V, booked Kathmandu flights for May, £500 each. Qatar, that's good.
That's really good.
£500 from Qatar Airlines, brilliant. Yeah,
that's really, really good.
I'd take that if I was going. Yeah, return flights for May, to go into Kathmandu from the UK, I'd take that. I've seen them £700, £800, £900 before. So yeah, great stuff. Yeah. So whoever asked the question earlier about flights, definitely. Sorry, Paul. Have a look at the flights, mate. Get them in, definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
Right, Dave. Yeah, well, we've answered loads. I mean, there's we just to sort of recap really what we talked about. We talked about fears, maybe things that people are thinking about, maybe some of the anxieties around altitude, things like that. I hope that was a little bit value, guys, and especially if altitude is kind of brand new to you. I know a lot of people on here are part of the altitude junkie society that we are. But yeah, when it comes to if you haven't been to altitude before, it's an awesome place. Because of the views, because of the people you meet, the cultures. It really is a special time. I know there's challenges. There's always going to be challenges. If it was easy, hey, it'd be everyone would be there, wouldn't they? But it's not easy. It's difficult. It's a challenge. That's why we like it.
Yeah.
That's why we can't wait to get back. So yeah, I hope you've found today really valuable. Dave, any final thoughts, mate, before we finish?
No, that's it. Looking forward to seeing you guys that are coming to the training weekend.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that we'll always our paths will cross at some point. If you're not, I'm going to try and get between this live now and the training weekend, get everyone's name correct. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go into my overdraft to cover the beers. But no, that's it. Yeah, and I think it's been a great chat again. Love answering these sorts of questions.
Yeah.
It amazes me that you guys can still sort of surprise us with the questions that still happen. Right. So yeah, it's amazing. But no, that's it. I'll let the guys speak for themselves. I wouldn't want to top it.
Great stuff. Well, Tom Marks, thanks guys. First real live for me. Great. Tom, I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely watch some of the others as well. There's always a little bit of humor, a little bit of knowledge in there. Hope you enjoyed it today. Obviously be back again next week. But yeah, thanks for everyone. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Now we've got to do like the